So many times as an older man, you can only second guess a younger woman's intentions. I mean, let's be real. It's not always easy to know if she's just being playful, if she's only curious, or if she actually wants to take things to a physical level with you. She may laugh at your jokes, lean in a little closer when you speak, or even ask you questions that seem innocent on the surface but are loaded with meaning. And the truth is, those questions are the key. You see, younger women rarely come out and say what's really on their minds. Instead, they drop hints. They want to test you, they want to see how you'll respond, and they want to know if you're the kind of man who can handle the situation with confidence. And once you learn to recognize those hints, it becomes almost impossible to miss when a younger woman is actually considering being with you. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 very specific questions that younger women ask when they're interested in sleeping with an older man. These are not random questions. They're deliberate. They carry hidden intent. And if you listen carefully, you'll realize they're her way of opening the door without saying it outright. So if you've ever been in that position where you're trying to figure out her angle, wondering if she's just friendly or if she's truly attracted, pay close attention, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what to listen for, and you'll never be confused about her intentions again. 1. She asks about your relationships. One of the first questions a younger woman will ask when she's starting to see you in a more intimate light is about your relationships. It could come in different forms. She might casually say, "So, are you seeing anyone right now?" Or she might phrase it in a playful way, like, "I bet you have a girlfriend somewhere, don't you?" Now, on the surface, this might look like she's just being nosy, but trust me, there's more to it. When a younger woman is attracted to an older man, she knows she's not dealing with someone inexperienced. She knows you've probably lived through a few relationships, maybe even marriage. So when she asks about your love life, she isn't just curious. She's trying to figure out if the door is open for her to step in. This is her way of gauging the field before she makes her move. Think about it. If she wasn't interested, she wouldn't care. She wouldn't spend energy wondering whether you're single, whether you're taken, or whether you're available. She wouldn't need to ask. But the moment she starts probing into your relationship status, it's a clear signal that her thoughts about you have gone beyond casual conversation. Now, let me be clear. Sometimes she'll ask in a teasing, indirect way. She may laugh it off like it's a joke. She may throw in a smile to downplay how serious the question actually is, but pay attention to the undertone. Pay attention to the way she lingers on your answer, the way she reacts if you say you're single, or how her eyes light up when you make it clear that you're available. And here's the real clue. If she follows up with more questions about what kind of women you usually date or what your type is, that's when you know she's lining herself up. She's not only checking availability, she's checking compatibility. She wants to know if she fits the picture. I remember a man once told me about a younger woman he met at a social event. At first, their conversation was light, about music, about work, about random everyday things. But then she leaned in and asked, "So, do you live alone?" That's not small talk. That's an invitation for him to reveal where she could possibly fit in. And sure enough, that single question shifted the entire conversation. So, as an older man, understand this. When a younger woman asks about your relationships, it's rarely just curiosity. It's her subtle way of clearing the path. She wants to know if there's space for her in your life, and most importantly, if you'll welcome her in. 2, she asks about your lifestyle. Another big question a younger woman will slip into the conversation when she's interested in more than just casual talk is about your lifestyle. And no, I don't just mean her asking what you do for a living. I mean, she digs into how you live. Things like, "So what do you usually do on weekends?" Or, "How do you spend your evenings after work?" Or even something as direct as, "Where do you usually hang out?" These aren't random. These are her way of painting a picture of what life looks like with you and where she might fit in. Now let me share a story that brings this to life. A close friend of mine who's in his late 40s told me about a younger woman he met at the gym. At first, their conversations were the usual small talk, fitness routines, diet tips, that sort of thing. But one day, out of nowhere, she asked him, "So, what do you usually do on Friday nights?" He thought it was just casual interest, so he said, "Well, I usually grab dinner, maybe watch a movie, sometimes just relax at home." The moment he said that, she smiled and responded, "That sounds nice. I don't usually have plans on Fridays. Do you see the move?" That wasn't small talk. That was her creating an opening. She wanted to see if his lifestyle left room for her to slide in. And as the conversations continued, she asked even more questions like, Do you travel a lot for work? And what do you usually do on weekends? Little by little, she was trying to measure how available he would be, not just for dating, but for intimacy. When a younger woman asks about your lifestyle, she's really checking two things. First, she wants to know if you have time for her. If your schedule is so packed that she'll barely get to see you, she'll hesitate. Second, she's trying to imagine herself in your world. Could she picture herself at your favorite restaurant? Could she imagine being at your place on those quiet Friday nights? This is how she drops hints about wanting to be a part of your private life. And let me be honest with you, if she wasn't interested, she wouldn't care whether you spent Friday nights at home or climbing Mount Everest. She wouldn't ask what your weekends look like, and she wouldn't want to know the rhythm of your days. But once she starts digging into those little lifestyle details, it's because she's already thinking beyond casual chatter. So pay attention, because these lifestyle questions are her way of saying, without saying it, I want to know where I can fit in, and if I do, will you let me? 3. She asks about your living situation. One of the clearest signs that a younger woman is interested in taking things further with an older man is when she asks about your living situation. It usually comes across casually, almost like small talk. She might say, "So, do you live alone?" Or maybe she phrases it as, "Who do you live with?" At first, it can sound like an innocent question, but the truth is, it's never random. When she asks this, what she really wants to know is there an opportunity for us to be alone together? Let me use a close friend of mine as a case study. He's in his early 50s, a successful consultant, and he met a much younger woman through a mutual friend at a dinner gathering. At first, the conversations between them were all about business, travel, and general interests. Nothing serious. But a few weeks later, when they met again, she suddenly asked him, "So, do you stay by yourself, or do you have roommates?" Now, if you've lived long enough, you know that wasn't small talk. She was clearly checking if his space was private, if there was freedom for intimacy, and if she could imagine herself being comfortable there. And guess what? When he told her he lived alone, her entire demeanor changed. She leaned in, laughed more, and started asking follow-up questions like, "Do you cook at home often?" Or, "What's your place like?" Those weren't questions about interior design. They were signals. She was painting a mental picture of being there with him. Here's the lesson. When a younger woman asks about your living situation, she's gauging how easy or difficult it would be for things to move beyond public settings. If you tell her you live with your parents, kids, or roommates, her excitement may fade because privacy isn't guaranteed. But when she hears you live alone, it sparks curiosity and often boldness because suddenly the door is wide open. My friend told me later that once she found out he lived alone, she started suggesting casual hangouts like cooking dinner together or watching a movie at his place. And this happened only after that one question about where he lived. That was her way of bridging the gap between flirting and intimacy. So as an older man, don't ignore this signal. When she asks about your living situation, she isn't being nosy. She's testing the waters. She's asking herself, if I decide to take this further, will I feel safe? Will I feel comfortable? And will there be space for just the two of us? And if she asks that, you can be sure she's already considered crossing that line. 4. She asks about your experiences. Another question younger women will often ask when she's sizing you up in more ways than one is about your past experiences. It might sound like, "So, have you ever dated someone younger?" Or, "What's it like for you with women my age?" On the surface, it feels like harmless curiosity. But in reality, she's testing you. She wants to know if you've been down this road before, and more importantly, whether you can handle it with confidence. Now imagine this. You're sitting across from her, maybe at a restaurant, maybe just having coffee. The conversation has been light and fun, and then out of nowhere, she hits you with, "So, have you ever been with someone younger?" She leans in a little, her eyes locked on yours, waiting for your answer. Right there, she isn't asking because she's writing a book on relationships. She's asking because she's putting herself in that picture with you. How you answer that question will tell her everything. If you stumble, if you act uncomfortable, she'll sense hesitation. But if you keep calm, smile, and respond with confidence, she'll see that you're not intimidated by her youth or the dynamic between you. That assurance makes her feel safe, and it also sparks her curiosity even more. Think about it. Why would she even care about your past unless she was interested in becoming part of your present? If she wasn't thinking about intimacy, your history wouldn't matter to her at all. But the fact that she's bringing it up shows that she's already imagining what it would be like with you. She's not just asking about your past. She's really asking, if I step into your life, how will you handle me? Picture yourself in this situation. You tell her, yes, you've had experiences with younger women before. Watch her body language after that. She'll likely smile, lean closer, or even tease you a little more. Then she might follow up with, so, how was it? That's her way of asking if she could be just as exciting or even more. She's not looking for statistics. She's looking for assurance that she won't be judged, that you'll know what to do, and that she won't have to explain herself every step of the way. So here's the point. When a younger woman asks about your experiences, don't dismiss it as casual talk. She's laying the groundwork. She's opening a door for you to prove that you're not shaken by her age, her questions, or her curiosity. And if you pay attention, you'll realize she isn't talking about your past at all. She's really hinting at your future with her. 5. She asks about your lifestyle. One of the strongest signs a younger woman gives when she's thinking about being intimate with you is when she starts asking about your lifestyle. These aren't just casual questions like, so what do you do for fun? Or how do you usually spend your weekends? She's digging deeper. What she really wants to know is whether your life has the stability, the excitement, and the confidence that she wants to be part of. When she asks about your lifestyle, she's trying to picture herself in it. She's imagining what it would feel like to spend time with you, to step into your world, and to see if it fits what she desires. Younger women are drawn to older men not just because of age, but because of what age is supposed to represent: maturity, direction, and the ability to create experiences that feel different from what she's used to. Think about the way she asks. If she's interested in you sexually, her curiosity will sound a little more personal. Instead of just, what do you do for work? She might lean in with, so, how do you usually relax after a long day? Or instead of asking, do you go out much? She'll say, what's a night out with you usually like? Pay attention to the way she frames her questions, because those details reveal her intentions. She isn't asking for small talk. She's asking because she wants to know what it would be like to share those moments with you. Here's where a lot of men slip up. They answer too formally or too casually. If you just say, oh, I work a lot, then go home and sleep, you've killed the vibe. She's not just asking for facts. She's looking for energy. She wants to feel like stepping into your life would be fun, rewarding, or at the very least different from the boys her age who have nothing to offer but late-night texts and aimless plans. So, when she asks about your lifestyle, take it as a green light. She's not just gathering information, she's showing you that she's curious about you beyond surface-level talk. If she didn't care, she wouldn't even ask. Remember, people only get curious about a life they want to be part of. Here's the bottom line. When a younger woman starts probing about your lifestyle, it's her way of silently saying, I want to know what it would feel like to be around you, to spend time with you, and maybe to be closer to you than just friends. Don't brush that off. Recognize it for what it is, a sign of real interest. 6. She avoids direct questions. Now here's where things get tricky. Sometimes instead of asking you direct questions, a younger woman will do the exact opposite. She'll avoid asking anything personal at all. And that in itself can be a signal. You might think, wait, how can silence mean interest? But think about it. When a younger woman is attracted to you, especially if she's considering intimacy, there's a chance she won't have the nerve to ask outright. Instead, she'll leave space for you to take the lead. She won't say, have you dated someone younger before, or what's your lifestyle like? She'll keep her questions vague or even avoid them altogether because she doesn't want to risk sounding too obvious. And this is where most men misinterpret the situation. If she's not asking, you assume she's not interested. But sometimes the very fact that she isn't asking means she already knows the answer she wants, or she's waiting to see if you'll step up and reveal it on your own. Pay attention to the way she reacts instead of the way she asks. If she avoids personal questions, but her body language leans in, if she listens more than she talks, if she lets pauses hang in the air, those are her silent ways of pulling you closer. She's not going to spell it out, because spelling it out would kill the mystery, and mystery, to her, keeps the attraction alive. This can feel contradictory because we've just talked about women asking questions as a sign of interest. But here's the truth. Both patterns exist. Some women test you directly with questions. Others test you by withholding them. And the challenge for you, as a man, is learning to read both. So if she's not asking, don't assume she's checked out. Instead, look at the bigger picture. Does she linger in the conversation? Does she create moments where you can step in and lead? Does she keep her eyes on you when you speak, like she's waiting for you to say more? Those are the hidden signals behind her silence. The danger is when you mistake her quietness for rejection and pull away too soon. That's when you miss the opportunity. Understand that silence, hesitation, and avoidance can sometimes be her way of saying, I want you to figure this out without me making it too easy. So here's the contradiction. Sometimes she'll ask you bold, direct questions to show her interest. Other times, she won't ask anything at all, and that can mean the very same thing. Your job is not to cling to one pattern, but to sharpen your awareness so you can read both sides of the game. 7. She asks about your availability. The final question that gives her away is surprisingly simple, yet it carries so much weight. When a younger woman is seriously interested in taking things further with an older man, she will almost always ask about your availability. And I don't mean just in terms of your free time. I mean in terms of your relationship status, your commitments, and where you stand emotionally. It might sound like, "Ciao, so, do you live alone?" Or, "Are you seeing anyone right now?" Or even more subtle, "How come a man like you isn't married?" These aren't random questions. These are her ways of confirming that there's an open door for her to walk through. You see, younger women understand that older men often have a life that's already established, maybe kids, maybe an ex-wife, maybe a career that keeps them busy. So when she asks about your availability, she's not just being nosy, she's checking if there's room for her in your life. And if the conversation shifts toward intimacy, she's really asking if she can safely move forward without competing with another woman or stepping into unnecessary drama. This is where a lot of older men get caught off guard because they think she's just making small talk. But trust me, women don't ask these questions without reason. If she wasn't interested, she wouldn't care whether you were single, married, or even seeing 10 different women. The fact that she's curious means she's measuring her chances with you. Now, don't confuse this with her wanting a full-blown relationship. Sometimes she's just curious about whether she'll be stepping on someone else's toes. Other times, she's genuinely hoping you're emotionally free so she can explore where things might lead. Either way, the question itself reveals intent. What's more, the tone she uses matters just as much as the words. If she asks with a playful smirk, she might be testing you, seeing if you'll dodge or if you'll be honest. If she asks with genuine curiosity, leaning forward and really listening to your answer, then she's probably imagining herself in that empty space in your life. And here's the key. A younger woman who's ready to sleep with you doesn't just want the moment. She wants the clarity that makes the moment possible. Her asking about your availability is her way of clearing the air. She wants to know whether this is something she can give herself to without second guessing. So pay close attention. When she asks about your time, your commitments, or your relationship status, she's not fishing for gossip. She's signaling. She's trying to understand if she's about to cross into a territory where she has a place, or if she'll have to step back. At the end of the day, younger women don't ask these 3 questions by accident. They ask them with purpose. And when you learn to recognize them, you'll never again be left guessing about what's on her mind. So there you have it. 3 simple questions that younger women ask when they're actually interested in sleeping with an older man. They may never say it directly, but their curiosity, the way they probe, and the words they choose tell you everything you need to know. Now, when you hear these questions, you won't be left second guessing. You'll understand her intentions clearly. If this helped you see things differently, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss what's coming next. My name is Jessica. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.